Good morning, world, from the beautiful island of Siargao. It is a lovely sunny day today. We're out with the family. Poppy's just going for her morning run. She's actually run off in that direction. I can't see her anymore.
We've all come out for Poppy's walk this morning, but as soon as we got out here we were like, oh, it's beautiful and cool and breezy, so we've all just sat down enjoying the the nice weather, while Poppy does all the running around.
Yeah, we're actually getting zero exercise right now. But while we're here, we did actually want to talk about something that you guys have been questioning. We have obviously just recently announced that we've bought land here on the island and we are building our home, and there's lots of questions flying around about what's going on with that and some of the challenges that we're going to face building our island home here in Siargao in the Philippines. Are you excited to have a house in the Philippines?
Of course!
Yeah?
Sleepers too.
What are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about the Alexa.
The Alexa?
Alexa, turn on the coffee machine.
Oh, I see.
Yes, fantastic. Can it do that?
Yes, it can.
Woo!
If you get the right kind of coffee machine.
Let's move in now.
Yeah.
Let's get it now.
What Story's referring to is that we have signed up with a modular home company here in the Philippines. They're going to be building a smart home for us, which has Alexa included and can communicate with the whole house. I know it's a bit of a gimmick, but it's all part of our dream home journey. We've been talking about buying a home for the last, 10 to 12 years on YouTube.
Yeah.
We finally settled on the Philippines.
Yeah.
So just a quick reminder for everybody, we mentioned in our previous video when we announced that we were going to buy land in the Philippines that we already know that foreigners can't own land in Asia and in pretty much here in the whole of the Philippines. And when we were living in Thailand before this, it was also the same thing. This isn't new information for us.
Yeah, same situation. Like when we were looking at ideas and things in Thailand, we were faced with the same challenges, but at that time in our life, it wasn't really something that we were wanting to put everything into.
Yes?
Yeah, first cut of the day.
Yeah.
I have a cut.
Oh my goodness, really?
Oh no, you've scratched your toe.
So you have. How did you do that?
Now, I just went onto the rock there, cut.
Oh my goodness. It's part of the island problems, eh? Living on an island. It's just part of life. Hello, Poppy. Our little stray. Come back to us. Yeah, she's done with her run. This is a good thing about staying in one spot. Eventually, Poppy just comes back to you. You don't have to chase her. Whereas if we go running after you, Poppy, you run away, don't you? Now, I could easily clip you back on, but I'm not going to. Right, you've got your freedom. We're still enjoying the outside. Hello, beautiful dog.
Hello.
Oh, she's actually come to join us up on the platform. We're sitting on this bit of tile here, which is actually quite a nice place to sit. Getting a good breeze.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. So back to what we were saying. Yes, we're fully aware of the whole land ownership thing. Pretty much any foreigner who has got to this stage where they are actually going to spend money on the Philippines and buy land knows that they can't own land 100% here unless you're either married to a Filipino, or you have a Filipino business and a corporation, or you have Filipinos in your family. In our situation, we have Filipinos in our family, so that's the way we're going down with it. Other things that we wanted to discuss in this video are some of the problems that we know we're going to face building an eco home here on an island in the Philippines.
Island problems, which we've faced the whole time that we've been here, but now going into like a house build, they're going to be amplified, I think.
Yeah.
But or maybe not, but things like getting the land ready. Thankfully our land already has electricity.
Yes.
But
So
I know that a lot of people, they buy a plot of land and it's like nothing, no services at all, and then they have mega problems trying to get it all connected.
yeah.
But our plot already is connected with electricity.
Yeah, it can take up to a year or maybe longer to get approval from the local energy company to get your electricity line fitted. So we have two ways of overcoming this. Obviously, buy a patch of land that's got electricity like we did. And also we have a full solar powered system on our current rental house that we own. And we are going to take that system with us to the house. So electricity we should have covered, but it is a problem that you do have to overcome when you build or buy on a remote island in the Philippines. Poppy's just having a little mad dash, getting that energy out. She's probably going to sleep the rest of the day. There are other solutions for energy on this island as well, which are well covered, like generators. Pretty much every hotel has a industrial sized generator, which was very useful when we had Typhoon Odette, because not a lot of people had solar and nobody had energy for 4 months. So we know these things can happen. And also wind power. It's quite a windy day today, and we know a few people with hotels on this island that are experimenting with wind turbines. So there are plenty of ways that we can cover the major issue of electricity reliability, power cuts, brownouts, which are very common here on Siargao Island. Another issue that you probably didn't really think about when it comes to island life is water supply. We have no city water supply here where we live, which is like right in the middle of the island. All of the water comes directly from this plot of land. So there's like a deep well under the ground with fresh water supply, and we basically pump it into tanks, and then we use gravity to pump that into our home. So there's water pumps all over the place, taking water directly from underneath the land. And our land that we bought also has a deep water supply. So we need to dig for it, but we know it's there. If you live in a bigger town or in a more established island, then sometimes they have a city water supply, but obviously you have to pay for that, and it can get quite expensive if the government decides to up their rates. And a lot of people have been complaining about water prices around General Luna. And also there's a smell, like a sulfuric smell that happens around coastal properties that you have very little control over.
Not all coastal properties either. We did stay in a couple of places where the water has been very, very smelly.
Yeah, salty as well.
Yeah, it's not nice at all. And
even for brushing your teeth, you would taste the salts and smell the kind of eggy sulfuric. It wasn't like dangerous, but it wasn't pleasant.
Yeah, it's not a nice experience, is it? You turn on the taps to wash your face and you've got egg water.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is gross.
Yeah, gross, yeah.
You know, I was thinking about walking inside this cave underneath the CUBO, but then I was like, it's going to need more cut supplies in there.
Cut supplies? Yeah, you can go through there, there's enough space. Just bend down and go slowly, okay?
I will.
Poppy's on her way back. She's just been running around like crazy.
I was looking for her. I thought she was down on the beach, but she's actually come from the houseway, so she was completely in the wrong place where I thought she was.
I think she wants to go home. Hello, island boy. Look at you. Before we had Poppy, Shalako used to come and sit with us all the time over here, didn't he? It's a bit of a nostalgia moment having Shalako up with us. Look at all those waggy tails. Poppy's excited to see her friend. Oh my goodness, Popster.
Poor Shalako. Poppy always wants to play and you're just not interested, are you?
I think Shalako got too old. When Shalako was like a year or two ago, he was the fast one, and now Poppy, whoa, has taken that mantle from it. Oh, don't bite Shalako's tail, Poppy. Come on, relax, chill out. You're like a weirdo.
Please play with me.
Yeah.
I'm desperate.
And now Jalako's eating his bum up.
The next problem we briefly mentioned when we went to go and see the land, did our land reveal, was having a sewage system or a septic tank. So pretty much all the properties we've stayed in here have septic tanks, because there is no sewer system on this island, is there? There's no drains, there's no drainage. Pretty much that's why you get flooding as well, I guess.
It's crazy, like for us coming from England, it's like these are things that you don't think about. You take for granted so much that you just go in and you've got electricity, or you've got a sewer under your house, or you've got,
They just work, don't they?
Yeah, they're just there, and that you don't have to worry about them. But
it's true. When we first moved into this house, I did not question where my toilet stuff was going, I was like, I just assumed there was a sewage line or something, or some kind of sewer, but there isn't. And every house pretty much has a septic tank built before the foundations are put down. We've been in touch with a few very knowledgeable people in this regard, and they've given us advice on what type of septic tank to put under the house in case we want to have a rental property in the future. There's laws against how many chambers it has to have. So you basically put a big septic tank underneath your home before you build it. And most of them here on this island are actually just fully organic systems. So they have like worms and bugs and stuff inside them. So when your waste goes in, those organic creatures eat whatever waste goes in. So if you start using too much shampoo that's not organic and everything, it can kill the system that lives inside your septic tank and makes it work.
I know a fact.
What's your fact?
The balls that eat all of the worms.
Yeah. What, in sewage?
Yeah. Sewage. They, when they are full up, they sink to the bottom.
That's true, yes. In a normal sewage system, the bacteria sucks down the waste. Yes, very good fact, Story. Very advanced fact, actually, for you to know
I
that.
didn't know where she was going with
Yeah,
that.
she learned that from Storybots. Yeah, what else?
It's too gross.
Is it?
It's gross. I said it's too gross.
Sewage is gross. It is something that you have to think about when you buy and build a house which doesn't have a sewage system underneath.
Yeah.
The CUBO company has a contractor that's going to be doing the foundation, and they will also be helping us to build the septic tank. So there's
And
that.
it's not just here either. Our house in Portugal, our last house we lived in, also had a septic tank, so that was in a very rural
Agricultural,
area.
yeah.
So it's not like just isolated to being on an island. That we know that happens elsewhere as well. We've also lived in houses with septic tanks before.
Yeah, you just didn't really think about them until you have to build one.
Yeah. And also going like forward, you have to think about what you put down the toilet, you know,
Yes.
toilet cleaner and
Yeah,
or
bleach,
and
yeah.
things like that you can't really use because it kills the things that are actively helping to clear away your rubbish.
Yeah, it's very interesting actually if you look into it.
Another plus on the plot that we have acquired is access road.
Oh yeah.
So many parcels of land here. They might be cheaper, but they don't have any access. So you might get to your land and not actually be able to get to it, you know, you have to helicopter in or
Yeah. And also
shoot down because there's no road to it and you have to walk across someone else's land, and then
Yeah.
they won't, you've got to then deal with 2 or 3 other people to try and get a road to your actual property.
so the access road that runs to our house is not owned by any private individual. It's actually part of the public road system, so no one can come and take that access away from us, or we don't have to come up with some deal with some landowner. And that was a major factor for us to purchase this. I didn't want anybody coming along halfway through our project saying, oh, by the way, if you want to get to your land, you now have to pay the same money again to have access through mine. So if you are buying a plot of land in the Philippines or somewhere rural, make sure you have direct access to it that can't be taken over by someone else that you've got no control over.
Yeah.
Another major problem we've talked about many times here living on Siargao is the internet. It is terrible. This is like a major tourist destination. Loads of people come here, loads of people want to live here, but one of the major things that stops people is the internet is slow, unreliable and spotty. Currently in the Philippines for very, very many years, there's been this kind of monopoly on who can own internet companies. So there's only been like 2 major companies that supply all of the internet, and in an island location you're reliant on these kind of like microwave towers that bounce internet signals to you from the mainland. So we don't have fiber optic here on the island yet. It's taking its time to get here, and we have very slow, very unreliable connections. So one of the major ways you can overcome this is with the very, very new Starlink internet, which has just been approved in the Philippines, and it's going to change rural destinations for the better in so many ways. If you don't know what Starlink is, it's basically internet by Elon Musk and it's satellite powered, so it's kind of independent from the Philippines. And one huge benefit from this Starlink system is that even if fiber optic is nowhere near your house yet and they haven't run a line, you can get speeds of up to 200 megabits per second, even in the middle of nowhere. And even if we have to go through another disaster for weather, like if we have another storm and it knocks out all communication like it did for us in 2021, we will still be able to communicate with our families and like get the emergency services messages out, because the internet system will be completely independent from the towers that all got knocked down during the storms. So satellite internet is a good way for us to overcome our internet problems. And in the next 2 years or so, they are talking about bringing fiber optic to Siargao. We've already seen the little posts going up and around the islands.
Like work on that now, so it's really developing quickly, the island, and it will be very, very different in the next 5 years to when we first arrived here, I think.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a good time to be here, kind of in like seeing it all happening.
Oh, definitely. And one of the last factors that's just come to me off the top of my head is the fact that we are, like, of course, living on an island which isn't connected by any bridges or any by land transport. So everything you bring here has to come on a ship, which can be very expensive. We know that. We've been living here for 3 years now, but it is getting better. Deliveries are getting faster. When we order things online, sometimes they're here in 5 days, which is pretty good. It used to be over 2 weeks before to get anything. But yeah, we're hoping, and we've heard that there is plans to build a access bridge and roads that will go over to Surigao or Claver in Mindanao, which could be a game changer in the next 10 years.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
It would. But for now, we know things can get here on big ships, but it just takes a little bit longer, and you have to factor that in.
Yeah. But even for like saying like, oh, things get here in 5 to 6 days, which for us here on the island is like, wow, that was super quick. The people at home in England will be laughing at that because you can get like same day delivery, or within an hour you can get groceries to your door and things like that. But
it all comes down to forward planning, though. You don't really need those things, do you? Like 5 days is enough if you pre-plan 5 days in advance. And you know, like we said, we've been living here for 3 years. We know these problems already. We've dealt with them for a long time, and logistically we're okay with it. And the trade-off and the benefit is, of course, we get to live in a beautiful location like this. And one more thing that just came to mind is, of course, the weather. Of course, being in a place like this, we are subject to tropical storms, earthquakes, disasters, massive typhoons, which we've actually experienced. So we know that things can be pretty bad here, but we also feel like because we've gone through one and experienced it and survived it, we are prepared to still make this decision, knowing that those things are a risk and a danger here in this kind of location. The house that we're having built will have a international standard typhoon and hurricane protection system built in, and also it's designed to withstand earthquakes as well. So we are confident that we're taking steps to overcome and protect ourselves from these things that are unavoidable. But
we've been talking about having some extra kind of storm shutters put on the front of the house, or to kind of like an encasing around the house, just, you know, in case the worst happens. But hopefully we won't experience that again, but you never know with climate change and things like that. The whole weather pattern around the world is changing. So again, it might not just be isolated to an island, but because we are here and we have experienced some kind of very extreme weather, so the only thing to do is to prepare for it.
Exactly. And with the satellite internet, with the strapping system in the house, with the storm shutters, and also the land location that we chose being protected from like 3 sides from wind, is pretty much all you can do. And then the rest of it is risks that you just have to live with. And a life without risk is a life that isn't really worth living, to be honest. All of the best things that have happened to us in our life have been because of risks that we've taken, and I don't think we're going to be changing that anytime soon. So yeah, those are the major problems that we currently know about. Of course, as the build goes on and the land gets all prepped and we start putting the property on, we will share other problems that we faced along the way. But
sure there'll be some.
We're still super excited about it, and we don't regret the decisions that we made to buy the land here on Siargao Island. So we hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.